Yo, what's up? This is your boy, Davyne for Through the Ropes University. Always keeping it 100 for my people. That is what I do. Thank you all for checking in for another exciting edition of Power Lunchables with your boy. And you know what we're talking about today? That right there, that 131 miles. I want to take you all on my journey on how I got there. Here it was back in May when I first bought my bike during when the pandemic had just hit and all the gyms were closed. And I just wanted to have something that I could exercise with and kind of stay in front of my health. So here it is. I bought this bike, and the very first day I bought that bike, I was so excited. I rode for about 3 hours that day, just having fun. I was all over the place. Went by my wife's job, went to the park. I'm just riding around the city. I was just having a great time that day, just having fun. So I kept riding my bike every day, just enjoying it. Then one day my cousin, Kyra, asked me, he said, hey man, he said, how many miles you be doing on your bike when you're out there? I said, man, I don't know. I just go by the amount of time that I'm out there. I said, I put the timer on my phone. I said, I normally do about an hour and a half, maybe 2 on a regular like that, as far as hours concerned. He said, well, once you just download the bike app on there, it could track your miles for you and all that. So I wasn't really into it like that. So I just kept on riding and keeping up with my time. So one day, I was talking to some of my homeboys back in South Carolina. We always screenshot, like if we do the step tracker, if we go walking somewhere, we'll screenshot how many steps we took or whatever we doing as far as exercising, just to keep each other encouraged. So one day, I don't know, it just popped in my head. I said, man, I'm going for 25 miles tomorrow on my bike. And it was like, what? So one of my homeboys asked me, he said, well, how many miles do you do on a regular? And I had no idea. I said, probably about 5 to 7. He said, man, that's a big jump, man. That's a long ride on your bike for 25 miles. I said, yeah, man, just wish me luck. They said, all right, man. So the next morning I jumped up by 5 in the morning. I said, man, I'm going to go for these 25 miles. So I had no idea what I was up against. So I jumped on my bike. I had already downloaded the app my cousin told me about for the bike tracking for your miles and stuff, right? So I started riding. And I'm out there just doing what I normally do, listen to my music, right? So about an hour and 40 minutes had went by. I said, let me check this tracker and to see what my time was at right now. How many miles I had done, if any. So I'm thinking to myself, it should at least say at least 5 to 7 miles. I look down and I'm blown absolutely away. I'm at 17 miles already, an hour and 40 minutes. Then it just registered in my mind. This entire time I've been out there bike riding, I've been doing at least 15 to 20 miles on a regular. Here I am when my homeboy asked me how many miles do I normally do. I'm shortchanging myself saying 5 to 7 miles because I had no idea. But the fact of the matter is I was doing 15 to 20 miles a day on a regular and had no idea. So after about 2 hours and 35 minutes, I completed 31 miles. Screenshot it, sent it to my homeboys, and I had amazed myself. I'm like, whoa, had no idea I can do it. So in my mind, now I'm psyching myself out. If I could do 31, I could do 41. So a day or so later, I went for it. And I went and I hit the 41 miles, screenshot it, threw it out there for everybody. Then I went all the way up to doing 50, then to 61. I just kept going for it because I'm saying to myself, this is not that hard to me. So I'm just riding every day. So I start saying, what can I do to really amaze myself? Because I'm talking to my homeboys on the phone. I said, man, what if I did 100 miles one day? He said, ooh, boy, that's something serious there now. Man, slow your roll, slow your roll. I said, man, one day I'm going to go for it. So one day, I don't know, it just popped in me. Go for it this day. Now, it was already drizzling outside. I ain't felt like going out there and fighting with the weather. But then I start seeing the sun peek through the clouds. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go out here and go for it. So I said, I already did 61 miles. If I could at least do 71, it have felt like my day was worth it going out here in such a rainy weather. So I got out there. When I made it to 61, I remember my cousin Kyra called me and my other homeboy Anthony, they called me. I said, yo, I'm out here going for it, right? So I made it to 71 miles, and I was like, man, I already beat my last average of 61 by 10 miles. I should go on home. But I started saying to myself, I'm this close to 100 miles. And I had already put out there in the atmosphere that I wanted to do 100 miles on October 3rd for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But on that particular day, I wanted to go for it because my homeboy that live up north had already spooked me. He said, look, man, and you ain't in South Carolina no more. Up here it gets cold real quick. So he said it may be really, really cold by October 3rd. Now it's mid-September. I said, you know what? If I'm at 70, I'm going to go ahead and knock this 100 out that day. So I kept going 10 miles at a time. I got to 81, I screenshot it. I got to 90, screenshot it. And I said, you know what? I'm almost there. And I made it to 101 miles that night, and I felt so good about myself. Now I'm going to start getting close to October. I said, you know what? I still got to do something for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Plus, that's my birthday month. I got to do something. So I put it out there in the atmosphere. I'm going to up the ante, and I'm going to go for 125 miles. So I put it out there, and I'm scared of that because that took the 100 miles, 101 miles I did. It took me 9 hours and 30 minutes. So I know if I want to accomplish 125 miles, it's going to take me every bit 11 and a half to 12 hours. But I wasn't scared, but I was scared. So I got up one day and I said, I'm going to go for it. I made it to 50. I said, if you made it to 50, D, you can get to this 100. And if you have to bow out at 102 miles just to say, hey, I did 1 mile over my last average, then it is what it is. But when I made it to 100, I said, there's no way I'm not going to make it to 125. And I kept pushing, and I kept grinding, and I kept pushing, and I kept looping, I kept doing whatever I had to do to get there. And it was frustrating, but I had my music, and I had my will. And the next thing you know, I'm up to 129 miles. I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try to make it to at least 135. But when I got to 131, my phone was down to 1% in battery life, and I cannot ride without my music. So I went on and screenshot it at 131. So my point that I'm trying to tell you all is, I was counting myself out, and I was doubting myself. When a guy asked me, how many miles do you ride on a regular? I'm thinking 5 to 7, but I had already been doing 15 to 17 to 18 miles on a regular. And I put myself in a position to say, you know what? If you can do that, you can do this. So anybody that's out there listening, you want to be inspired, be encouraged, be inspired by this story. I'm not a professional bike rider. I'm just a regular person that bought a bike and wanted to get some exercise in. Now I'm out here really, really riding. I'm starting to think about competitions and competing and different things. You never know what your love is going to be, what your passion is going to be. Don't count yourself out. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep pressing through the mess. Push through the pain. Press through the mess till you win. I won 131 miles. Hope you all were encouraged. Thank you all for checking in. It's your boy, Davyne.